Kia ora, Canterbury, and welcome to Canterbury Live on Monday, the 23rd of November. I'm Andrea Allen, and thank you so much for joining us today. Just have to say that spent a beautiful afternoon yesterday at the Starship charity fundraiser that was held at the Hagley Oval. It was a lovely afternoon tea, thanks to the V-Base team, but all about raising funds for Starship Hospital. We had some couple of tearjerker stories, but it was a wonderful feeling, some beautiful ladies there, and all giving to a fantastic cause. So congratulations to the team that put it all together. It's such a wonderful cause. Rightio, if it's your birthday today, many happy returns from the Canterbury Live team. You share it with the following people. First up, oh, she's a little bit tragic at the moment, isn't she? But it's Miley Cyrus. She is 23 today. She's really, I'm not sure what to say at the moment. She's a different girl than I first remember her. Miley Ray Cyrus, born Destiny Hope Cyrus. She was named the sexiest vegetarian celebrity of 2015. And she is one of the top 10 richest young female vocalists in the world. She's just on a different tangent at the moment, isn't she, with her costuming? And that is the most, probably one of the tamest ones I could actually put on air. And you can Google more if you want to have a little looky. Next up to another extreme, Martin Snedden, 57 today. There he goes. New Zealand cricketer. He was member of the New Zealand's seam bowling attack alongside Sir Richard Hadlee and Ewan Chatfield throughout its golden age in the 1980s. He is a lawyer by profession. He was CEO for cricket and then was part of the team for organising the 2011 World Cup. But he is now the CEO of Duco Productions that are behind all those big boxing fights and also the NRL Auckland Nines. Happy birthday to you, Martin. Next up though, wow, to a cricketing legend.
Cricket has had its fair share of lighter moments, but here is a heavy one. Australian fast bowler Merv Hughes. Here, Merv shows us how to stay flexible, keep in shape, and court members of the opposite sex.
Playing up to the crowd down there.
We could all take a leaf out of Merv's book, and there'd still be plenty left to read.
Very funny man indeed. That's Merv Hughes, 54 today, and it was believed that he actually insured his moustache for £200,000 back in the day, but my goodness, he does put the mo in November. He's 54. Next up, here's a treat for all the Coro fans out. A very special lady is celebrating her birthday today.
Need it?
Don't you lecture me about morals. At least my daughter hasn't been sent to prison.
How dare you? Deirdre was innocent. Everybody knows that. Tell her, Rita.
I'm not getting involved.
You've only brought that up because your own family's such a disaster.
No, ladies, please.
And what about your granddaughter then, eh? What about your Teresa?
And what does that mean?
If your family, Blanche, is so perfect, why did she finish up with her drug habits?
You needn't bring that. That's made a mistake, that's all.
Well, so did Sarah Louise, or are you so stupid that she thinks she got pregnant on...
And there she is, Chuck, that's Sue Nicole. She's talented till today. And remember, of course, her role is Audrey Roberts, one of the longest running roles, really. She won the 2000 British Soap Award for Best Comedy Performance. She is just gorgeous. I can't believe it. She's 72 today. She's looking beautiful. Rightio. Bit of a treat for the Coro fans. Now, giveaways. If you're heading along to the movies, well, the Hoyts team can make it really easy by winning some tickets. We have those to give away, if you can see those now. And the wonderful painting from Ira Mitchell-Kirk. It's quite gorgeous, isn't it, from Ira? And just remember that it is only until the end of November that you can enter into one. And we have a fresh one for December. There we go. And to enter, all you need to do is call through on 03 379 7100 or go to our website ctv.co.nz to our competition page. Rightio. On today's show, we're joined by the police. White Ribbon Day is coming up, so we learn and find out how we can help the team along. And the Red Cross, we're out on location with the wonderful transport team, helping the community get you from A to B and everywhere in between. And it's the Asia Pacific Lawn Bowls Champs. It's happening over the next 2 weeks right here in Christchurch. You need to get along. It's going to be huge. But first up, it is coming up to the silly season. It's a funny old phrase, but it is a bit of a silly season. And thank goodness for some no-nonsense no-nonsense information from Nourish. Nicola Freya joins me.
Hi.
No pressure, no nonsense, no nonsense. But it is coming up to that time though, isn't it?
It is. There's lots of social events at this time of
There's
year.
a lot of social events.
Yeah, and I think you need a game plan when you're going out to a social event, rather than just turning up and thinking, oh, you have this drink and someone offers you another drink and it's not planned. I think plan if you're going to drive, plan if you're going to have something to eat there, plan who you're going with and how that's all going to work out. And I think the end result is much better that way.
I like that. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Go in with a game plan.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So what, in regards to safety, what can we do in regards to a safety plan then for ourselves, a game plan?
Yeah, well, I think if you're thinking about the different things that affect your drinking, plan if you're going to have a meal out. If you're eating with the drinks, it's much better. Plan also, are you going to have some sort of activity for the evening, or are you just going to be sitting down and drinking? If you're just sitting down and drinking, it's a lot more difficult to actually have a responsible alcohol evening if there's nothing else to be done that night. So if there's dancing, if there's something to watch, if it involves something
Makes a
more
difference,
than
doesn't it?
just a drinking session. Yeah.
What's a standard drink?
A standard drink?
There's
Good.
such a cloud over that at the moment.
Yes. So I've got some examples here, and we'll just show you because it varies a lot, even within what people would think is a standard drink. So a 330ml of beer is generally a standard drink, but it depends what sort of alcoholic content it has. It's just the two beers that I've got here, and you should know also, if you look on the label, it will tell you how much of a standard drink it is. So one of these is 1.1 standard drinks, one of them is about 0.9 of a standard drink, and that's just because of the difference of alcohol in there. But a 330ml of beer is about one standard drink. These RTDs tend to be a bit more than a standard drink, so just have a look on there, on the labelling. About 100 ml of wine is a standard drink. Again, can vary slightly with the alcoholic content. But I've just brought these two glasses along because, of course, if you're having a standard drink of wine, it looks like quite a comfortable little glass full there. But if you like to drink out of the larger glasses, I'm just going to tip it into the bucket. Yes. And it does look a bit sad in there. So
just a little, tides out, as you'd say.
Go for the smaller glass so that you feel like you are having a reasonably sized drink when you do have your 100 ml. Otherwise, you tend to top it up, or someone else tops it up for you, and then you end up with far too much.
So is that a tip for if you don't want to be a party pooper, as sorts? You want to be part of the, the fun,
People feel like that, if I don't have another drink, I'm a party pooper. But as well as the things we talked about earlier, having a meal and making sure that you have some activity. Other things are if you're thirsty, of course, make sure you have a water or a soft drink or a diet drink. Don't use your alcoholic drink to quench your thirst.
That's so true, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if it's a hot day.
Yeah.
Then the go-to is your alcoholic beverage, but you're dead right. If you're thirsty when you arrive, have a couple of glasses of water to quench your thirst.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, don't get caught up in rounds.
Oh.
Try to avoid buying rounds of drinks, because it just means that everyone's got to have a drink. It's expensive for a start out, and you're sort of compelled by being part of that group to have. So that's just
There's a great website, cheers.org.nz. Tell us about that.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's got lots of information about what a standard drink is, and all sorts of information about the health effects of drinking and that sort of thing, or the detrimental effects to your health. But the one thing that I love about it is to see if you fit in the mould of a healthy drinker, or someone who's drinking at the right amount. So you can just sort of judge whether maybe you need to tone it down a little bit, or whether you're sitting about right. So go on there. It's really interesting.
Can be a little bit frightening.
It's easy, and sometimes it can be a bit of a wake-up call, and we all need those sometimes.
Yeah, we do, and maybe around this time. Hey, that's some great advice, and very cool. The recipe tomorrow is a non-alcoholic option for drinking.
Certainly, and it's refreshing, and it's just really nice to, even if you're having it in between alcoholic drinks.
And it's a fruity iced tea, is that right?
Iced tea, yeah.
Yum.
Yeah.
Good on you. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks, Nicola, and it's
No
some
worries.
great advice. But a big tip I'm taking away, and for the viewers, is a game plan.
Make a game plan.
Make a game plan. Good on you. Rightio, stay with us. After the break, we are joined by the police, and we hit the road with the Red Cross transport team.
Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever.
Well, there you go. That's this police siren. And I'm joined now by Senior Constable Chris Herring. Welcome to Canterbury Live, Chris, and Sergeant Tony Carroll.
Hi.
Great to see you both, but we have a pretty serious topic today, and one that we can't shy away from, and that's with the white ribbon appeal that is happening. Tony, can you please tell us about your role as far as family violence?
Yep, sure. So currently I'm the Family Violence Coordinator for Christchurch. I work with a number of agencies on a day-to-day basis where we try and get the right support to the people that have come to police attention through domestic episodes that the frontline have attended.
Yeah, and Chris, I mean, you're both, obviously you have families, you've got your own personal life. It must be harrowing sometimes for yourself to come across so many of these cases.
Yes, it is, but you can also separate that out, and you definitely go home and give your family a hug when there's been a difficult time at work, but yeah, it's part of the job. It's a job we love.
So what are some of the urban myths? When we think of family violence, I suppose if we're thinking, the Jake the Muss, the once were warriors, that must be where it all is and that. But who is a victim of family violence?
It goes across all sectors of our community. It's not confined to the Jake the Musses. It's not confined to once were warriors. It's across all socio-economic groups, and it's really a hidden thing within our society as well. We still only believe that 20% is reported, which is minute.
That's staggering, really, isn't it?
Considering we're getting 100,000 a year, and the estimate is 20% is reported. So, yeah.
Tony, what is Operation Bright Hope?
So Bright Hope is a focused operation that police are running for November. We are out in the community, we're in the malls, we've been handing out white ribbons, we've been having conversations with people, just trying to gauge what Christmas is going to look like for them, because Christmas from our work is really high stress for families, budget, obviously finance, budget, alcohol and family members that maybe you don't really like and you've got to hang out for the day.
You can't pick your families, can you? No.
So we've been getting in touch with those high-risk families, and we've been speaking to the general public just to get the awareness up. So the expectation is that could generate more calls, which is fine because at least someone's getting help.
Exactly. So Chris, how can we help as a community then to try and help you to assist those that need us?
I suppose it's about recognising it amongst the people that you know, the people you come across, and then knowing who to then refer it to, and how to respond, I suppose, in a way. And there's lots of agencies out there that you can refer this type of thing to, not only the police. If you don't want to report it to police, there's lots of family violence agencies that can help. And they're on the computer, they're on the internet. You Google family violence services in Canterbury and they're all there.
And Tony, it must be about breaking a cycle too, because unfortunately there is cycles that do happen with family violence, isn't it?
That's right. So family violence is a pattern or a cycle, and it can be a build-up, an explosion, and then remorse. So you sometimes you might not know you're in it, and until it happens a couple of times, and then you start thinking, oh, here we go again. As Chris said, not everyone wants to call police, but if you're talking to someone and they can take action and put you in contact with the right people, then that's a good start to breaking that cycle. Obviously, children are exposed to that cycle, and then we have a compounding problem, which means children exposed to that sort of living could potentially become perpetrators or victims as they grow up as well.
And Christmas is just around the corner, Chris, and it should be a happy time with their families. What's your wish for this Christmas then?
That everyone can have a happy and safe one. But unfortunately, as we know, the figures do go up over this time through various pressures, etc. And my wish is that we can help as many as we can, and that we're notified as many episodes of family violence so that we can help. And once we do know about it, then our aim is to reduce it happening or eliminate it happening again within those families.
Thank you to you both and your tireless work. I mean, I take my hat off to you. It really is quite upsetting for me as a mother, I suppose, as well, for you living and breathing it. So congratulations to you both and keep up the good work. And remember, don't be afraid to make a call. Thank you. Rightio, we're now out on location with the Red Cross, getting you from A to B with the transport team.
So the community transport started after the earthquakes in Canterbury. We found a lot of people were quite isolated, and the social fabric of Canterbury had really changed. After the earthquakes, we found people's families and friends had moved away, so the kind of people they would get a lift off to go to a medical appointment or doctors or pick up a prescription were no longer there. So we needed to do something, and so that's how community transport began. Initially, we only had one van, and then we soon realised this was something people really needed. So now we've got 3 vans, and we're just going to be adding to that, and we're going to have 4 vehicles. We're going to have 2 cars and 2 vans in the future. The volunteers really make the community transport possible. Without volunteers, we simply wouldn't be able to do it. I think each year they give something like over 6,000 hours helping us transport well over 4,000 people around in the community. And the kind of appointments they take them to are leisure and pleasure and medical appointments. And the reason that we think leisure and pleasure is important is because after the quakes, the psychosocial well-being of vulnerable people is really important, and people have really missed out on things. Community groups that were there are no longer there. People might have to travel a little bit further. Their friends might be across town now, who were once their next door neighbours. So really the whole social fabric of Canterbury's changed, and the response from volunteers and the willingness of volunteers to actually help out in the communities has just been tremendous.
A lot of these people live on their own and don't have a lot of social contact, and I think even in the van we try and talk to them and engage with them. Social contacts is just important for them.
We're transporting some people around and getting them in and out and to areas where they wouldn't be able to get normally. So yes, and that gets them back into the community.
You get to know them and a little bit about their lives, and you know, they're people like everybody else. Got their lives and stories to tell, which they're mostly quite happy to talk about.
I always like Red Cross because my wife does Meals on Wheels on a Thursday, so I volunteered for Thursday work for the Red Cross, and that's why I do it. I like to give back to my community.
We're always looking for new volunteers for community transport, and it's a tremendously rewarding role, and volunteers that do it absolutely love making a contribution to the community.
It was great spending time out there with the team, and that was shot and cut by Hayden Cook. Thanks, Hayden. Rightio, after the break, prepared to be bowled over. The Asia Pacific bowling champs are hitting Christchurch. See you soon.
Reaching, smiling sweetly.
Hello from the USA.
Hello guys, how you going from Australia?
Kia ora from the Cook Islands.
Konnichiwa.
Merhaba from Turkey.
Mula.
Assalamualaikum, saya Nur Zafira binti Muhammad Noor daripada Malaysia. Terima kasih.
I love it. I call it the country of God. I love New Zealand.
I think New Zealand are probably the best greens in the world. They're fast, they're true, they're beautiful to play on, especially if the sun is on your back.
The maintenance of the greens here seems to be excellent. The greenkeepers do an excellent job here. The greens are very, very true. You know, once you get into a rhythm on these surfaces, you can play really well.
I've got some great, really good memories of Christchurch. I've probably been here maybe 10 times, I think. I love the greens here. Was lucky enough to stay in the city last year for the World Champs and really got to see, you know, the effects of the quake. But it was great to support, you know, the local restaurants and companies, and, you know, love to come back here. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful city.
Well, that's right. It is a huge, huge week here in Canterbury because we have the Asia Pacific Championships for bowls here, and I'm very lucky because I'm joined by the man that's heading it, or part of the team really, Bill Fowley from Bowls Events New Zealand. Welcome. Thanks for taking time out because there's a busy schedule. And next to you, the very young, dapper, Andrew Kelly, who's part of the Black Jacks team.
Wonderful, thank you.
Congratulations on being part of the team though as well.
Thank you.
Now, you're killing a bit of the urban myth, really, Andrew, looking at you now, because, well, how old are you?
27, actually.
27?
Yeah.
Now, Bill, would Andrew be one of the youngest bowlers, or are we seeing a change?
We're seeing a change. With the clubs now, you know, getting a lot of younger members. The New Zealand team, I think Caitlin Lynch is 19 is the youngest, 19 or 20. And these championships, we have a competitor from Niue who's 14.
Oh, isn't that fabulous? It's great.
Excuse me.
That's okay. So, Bill, tell us about this week. So it's the Asia Pacific Championships. What can we expect?
Well, you can expect the top bowls for a start because we're privileged in the Southern Hemisphere, in the Asia Pacific Rim, to have, in my mind, the top 3 or 4 countries in the world: Australia, New Zealand, Canada. And so there'll be good competition at that level. But there'll also be, you know, we have all our island nations competing. They a lot of flair, a lot of fun. So, you know, coming down, we'll see a bit of everything, and it's good competition, and people like to get together, and it's an occasion to renew your friendships both on and off the green.
And celebrate. Andrew, for you, it's in your blood.
It is, yeah. Both my parents play and my brother as well, so that's how I initially got into it. So yeah, it is.
So tell us about your lead up to it, the training that's involved to bring you into the Asia Pacific.
So being from Christchurch myself, I've had the opportunity to get on the greens that we're going to be playing on. So sort of every night I've been trying to get down, but I've had a bit of an interrupted build-up. I've been over in Scotland. I got back on Tuesday morning, playing on an indoor surface, so there was a bit of an interruption, but I guess
not a bad interruption though, just quietly in Scotland.
Yeah, not a bad interruption. No, it was good. But yeah, so the work I did before that, I'm pretty confident I'm in the right sort of space. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, it is local at Burnside Bowling Club.
Yeah,
nonetheless.
Yeah, Burnside is the headquarters, so that's where all play every day. We'll be that. We're supported by Bowls Papanui and Condolav, and they will help us out with section play. So 3 days this week and 4 days next week. So between the two clubs, we've got 5 greens, and they'll be fully occupied for all the 2 weeks.
It's a huge undertaking, though, isn't it, to bring in all of these players from around the world?
Yes, it is.
To Christchurch.
It is, and it's somewhat frustrating at times too. And I've, if I wasn't already had a haircut, I would have been pulling my hair out on a couple of occasions. We had a couple of very, very late withdrawals, which does not help an organiser like myself. But all in all, the competitors in the countries know what is expected of. I've been running these events for 6, 7, 8 years now, so they know what to expect from me. So brilliant. I expect the same in return. So it's good. But we have, you know, these tournaments do not run without volunteers, and I must state that we've got 150 volunteers from clubs in Christchurch helping me out for this 2 weeks. And if we didn't have those, you couldn't run the tournament. You know, the guys and girls could play their bowls, but it's what goes on, the preparation of the greens, the keeping the club rooms tidy, all those sort of things.
Along.
And volunteers do a magnificent job.
They do, don't they? We're very fortunate, aren't we?
We are, because you know, every time I've just put my hand up and said I want volunteers, there's been no shortage. I don't have to go
Okay, well, Andrew, very, very much best of luck.
Hey, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm sure you'll do tremendously well. Just being in the Asia Pacific is pretty incredible in its own. And Bill, let's remind everyone at home that anyone can go along to watch Burnside Bowling Club, and as you said, there'll be sectional like at Bowls Papanui and things like that. But go to the website. So all the best, enjoy, and may that weather Keep fine and dry. Good on you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rightio, we head into the Nourish Kitchen tomorrow and we're joined by strategy law as well as adjudicator for the capital debate that is happening tomorrow night. Have a fab Monday. Look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Take care.